Okay, one of the things we want to talk about is don't be late. You come downstairs, the bus will leave you. And we'll talk about what time it takes us in the morning when it gets us back at night. Betty, did you do this? Did you have a tour where you were in the bus every day, basically? Okay. So in a moment, we're going to go over the map, and I want to talk to you about a few things about Israel to alleviate some concerns. Mel?
You're on video, actually.
I'm on video.
You're yelling. You're yelling on YouTube right now.
All of y'all on YouTube, we're waiting on Melanie Hayward. And I think that Jesus is going to hold the rapture up about an hour for her, just to make sure she makes it.
That's okay. Well, let's go ahead and start and pray.
Okay, you ready to pray? Take off, girl.
Father, thank you for this time together. Thank you for this trip. I just plead the blood over every person going on this trip. I plead the blood over our airplane, over the stewards, the stewardess. And I thank you that, Heavenly Father, and I'm praying and asking you for a safe trip. Ministering spirits, go forth now and bring to us all the aid and support we need every minute of the day. And we thank you for an awesome time. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay, I'm going to kick it off and let Lisa talk about more of the logistics. This is Israel, and for the people like Betty and you guys that have been there, you remember what it's like. But when I got there, there was a lot of things that were a little different than I thought they were. There were where things were. So I want to go over this a little bit with you. Right here is Tel Aviv. This is where we're going to land, and you can see Israel is a big country. So we're going to land here, but I want to tell you because a lot of times people, especially your loved ones, are going to be saying, are you afraid, and what about the war? All right, I want to show you where that takes place. Right here is Syria. This is Lebanon. There's a border between here and here up in the Golan. And this is the only place there's a threat. See this little strip of land? That's it. There's one more down near Gaza where they shoot bombs or whatever right over the wall. Other than that, the rest of it's fine. Does that make sense to y'all? It's safer here than in America. It actually is. They're the most technologically advanced nation on the earth. All of the stuff that we're doing in our cars now, where it has seeing eyes and all that, Israel is doing that. All of the technology in our Raptors and our F-16s, Israel invented all that. So they're watching the bad guys from satellites very closely. They know things happen in hours. We were up in the Golan, and they told us that, the bad guys are planning something, and they knew 4 hours ahead of time that they were going to do something. So it's very, very safe. A lot of people are worried about it. Now, what about this thing with Trump? Well, I've heard through an Israeli that was in the IDF, and I watch him on my phone every day, and he made a statement. He said they're not going to do anything for a while. They don't want to just react. They want to do something. So Iran knows they're not big enough or powerful enough to take on Israel. So I think the next big event will be the Ezekiel 38 war, where Iran, Iraq, Turkey, Russia, and Syria, I think Armenia, if I read my Bible right, they will all get together and come down, but they're not going to bomb it, because they want the oil and they want the food. So you need to understand that. So that means that before there's a war, we would know it way ahead of time. They would be like, well, they're building the troops in Syria. And you'll hear about all that. So I don't think that we're in any concern. If there is a concern, they'll just tell you you're not coming. And then if they tell you that, you know it isn't safe. But they won't let you in. Okay, so the next thing that I want to show you, and let me get on this side. Hi, Kansas. We're going to be landing in Tel Aviv, and Lisa's going to go over some of this in a minute. And when we get off the airplane, we're going to head up the coast to Caesarea by the sea, and we're going to go up into Galilee. We will stay in Tel Aviv one night. That's the big city. It's kind of like going to New York. It's a modern city. It's not like Jerusalem. And so we'll be in Tel Aviv, and then we'll get on a bus, and we'll take off, and I'll let Lisa get into this in a minute. We eat breakfast every morning like at 7, and the bus leaves at 8 or 8:30. And if they say you need your luggage, you come down, you bring your luggage to the bus, you drop it off, you go eat, come back, it's on the bus, you get on the bus. Don't be late because we're on a schedule, and we'll be on the bus until about 5 that night, on and off. And the only day you need to that's going to be a lot of walking is when we get down into Jerusalem later, okay? So we're going to come up and see Caesarea by the sea, Simon the tanner's house on the sea, and then we're going to head up. Then we're going to go up into Galilee and up into Mount Carmel up here where Elijah called down fire, and then we're going to get down in to Galilee. Now we're going to go into the Golan. Now, this area here is the area where most of the IDF is concentrated, and that's where we're going to go to a coffee shop. And from what I've heard right now, it'll probably be Friday. It's cold up there, so you're going to want to wear a ski jacket. It's just like going to Virginia and go snow skiing. It's not like Maine or Canada. It's more like North Carolina. It's not as cold. It may snow, but when we were there, we were in jackets up in the Golan, and then when you get on the bus, if you want to leave anything on the bus is secured. You can leave cameras and anything you want to on the bus and get off and walk around, do what you want to. Nobody's getting on the bus, nobody's bothering anything of yours. So once we do that, we'll see the IDF. We'll come down here and we'll go to Tiberias, which is right on the Sea of Galilee, and get a hotel for several days. And we'll see all of this area up here because this is where Jesus grew up. This is Nazareth. This is where he grew up. This Sermon on the Mount, all of that's up in the north. So after we do this for several days, we'll take a bus and we'll go down to the Dead Sea, and we'll see Masada and the Dead Sea, where the Dead Sea Scrolls were. And if you want to take a bathing suit, you can float in the Dead Sea. By the time you get down in the desert, it's going to be warmer. I want to say warm. We went swimming.
Mid-70s.
Mid-70s, not 80s, but 70s. So you're going to go from a ski jacket to a t-shirt. So in one day. So your elevation's going to drop, and you're going to get down. It's like going straight from North Carolina right down to Miami, is what it is. So, well, maybe Orlando. So we're going to come down here, and we did stay in a hotel on the Dead Sea last time. We'll come up and back into Jerusalem, and we will base out of there and do everything around Jerusalem for a few days. Now, the temperature, it can rain and it can get wet. So this is what I wear. I take my Lands' End ski jacket. Don't carry a lot of clothes. You're not going to get dirty. You just need maybe 2 pair of pants, 3 at the max. You don't need one for every day. Your luggage is going to be 50 pounds, and anything over that, when you come in, they're going to charge you royal. So you don't want to go over the weight. So I carry a London Fog windbreaker jacket with a polar fleece vest underneath. That way I leave it in the bus, and I get out and the sun's going down, and I'm like, well, I'm getting a little cool. Put the vest on, wear it in the bus, put the jacket on, and get off. And when I'm up here in the Golan, I just put on my ski jacket, put on some gloves and stuff like that. One other thing I told Shay and Ashley, and I'll tell you, if you have time right now, go buy yourself some silk shirts and pants. You ladies, silk stockings. Yeah, thermals. Because, hold on, Shay, and I'll answer that in a second. Because silk is one of the warmest things you can wear, and it's very light, and it's not like polyester where when you get in a warm climate, you're like, oh God, I got to take this off, I'm dying. Silk doesn't do that. I've worn silk under my suits when I'm out because I can't dress warm, so I'll wear a silk t-shirt, silk long underwear, and then I'll put on my suit, and I'm warm. I'm warmer. I wouldn't say I went snow skiing like that, but I wear that when I go snow skiing and everything. I wear silk and wool, etc., etc. Che, you had a question?
So the ski shop that I called, did not have any of that anymore. They've got something called Thermosilk, which might be too hot.
Well, is it silk?
No, it's
Oh,
not.
okay.
So LL Bean is the only place that I found, because I called a bunch of stores, I called Dick's, I called LL Bean.
Well, I have found silk here in, they actually have men's shirts in the mall that are just made out of silk. I think the black shirt I was wearing Sunday, that black shirt under my, that was silk. That's silk shirt. So if and I'm just saying that because you want to pack light, you don't don't overdo this. I'm going to take these jeans, one other pair of pants, 2 or 3 shirts. You're going to want at least a dress shirt, maybe 1 or 2 dress shirts, and the rest of them you can wear flannel shirts just like you know, you're going to wear bumming clothes. You're going to be in and out of the bus. You're going to be seeing stuff, and so you want to be warm. You want to take a hat, want to take sunglasses, want to take chapstick. Take your medicine and put it in your carry-on, and do not put it in the belly of the airplane. Don't ever take medicine and give it to somebody and hoping your luggage arrives. Don't ever do it. Just take it where you can carry a carry-on on the plane. So stick your socks in there. And one more thing, and then I'm going to give it to you. When we get off and we get out of the airplane, we get in a bus and heading straight up. So you want to dress comfortable on the plane, but you're not going to a hotel first. Then you're going right into where it's cold. So if you are going to do that, you need to carry a pair of jeans or a warmer shirt and your jacket and take it with you on the airplane, because when you get off to get in the bus, you're going to want it. You're not going to be, if you have it in your suitcase, you'll have it, but have it where you can pull it out, you know, because you don't want to be going, oh my God, I wore my pajamas and all that to sleep on the plane, and now you're taking off up through Israel and it's cold outside and you're running around in your pajamas like you're going to Walmart or something, you know. Okay, do you have anything?
Are you ready?
I'm ready for you.
Okay.
So do not go to Simon the Tanner's house in Joppa in your pajamas.
It's a little chilly on the sea.
Yeah, on the sea. So I'm going to cover some logistics here. This is the Holy Land Tour Departure Checklist, which everybody should have received to their email. Please, print that off and go over it in detail if you need to. I'm not going to read every word. But I want to say this before I talk about logistics, just because I felt like it was important to say to you, and some of you may need it and some of you may not need it. But sometimes, and I noticed this on my first trip, being with some of the group that I didn't know. I didn't know anybody in my group. But as we got to know each other and sit down and talk, I noticed that more than a few people, I heard complaints. And I want to address these complaints now with you all. So you all are first-time people, a lot of you, not all of you. And one of the biggest complaints I heard, or not complaints, but disappointments that I heard was, I just felt like, I was going to walk where Jesus walked, and this automatic magic feeling was going to come on me and just totally revamp my life and heal me and make me whole, and I was going to walk in Jesus's footsteps. And what bummed some of them out that they learned, and you're going to learn, that Israel, there are some places that the guide is going to say, this is where Jesus walked. This is where his house in Nazareth was. This is where the synagogue, one of the synagogues he preached in was. But you need to understand that there are places where the Romans came in and different civilizations and countries came in and they destroyed them one after another, after another, after another. And so that's why they've uncovered all this archaeology, and they keep digging and digging and digging and finding this stuff that we're going to go to. So some of the places, you're going to notice that a lot of these places have Catholic churches and buildings on these sites. Well, let me just say this. If these Catholic churches were not on these sites, you would not be able to visit them today, because the Catholics bought these pieces of land. Israel doesn't own them. They bought them. The Pope bought them. But they've preserved these sites of Jesus and different areas because that was important to them. So you're going to be able to benefit from the Catholics.
If they didn't
over
have it,
there
the Muslims would, and you would not be able to
be
go
able
there.
to go into it or see it.
Okay.
So just having said that, I want you to understand that Jesus is probably not going to appear to you while you're in Israel or anything like that, but you need to understand he's in your heart. That's where he's at. You're not going to find him personally in the land, but when you go to the land, you are going to sense such a specialness of the people there and of the sights and what's happened. It will overwhelm you at times, but I just wanted to help you understand that there are going to be places you're going to walk that there's no way you could get into the house that this needs to be.
Now, there are
'Cause
places
it's
they're
been
going to show you,
demolished.
and it literally is the same right now as it was when Jesus walked the earth. But they have dug it up. We're going to go to, we're going to go to Peter's house, but it's underground. They dug it up.
They dug it up and they're going to
It's 3 or 4
show
feet
you.
underground.
So it's cool.
We're going to go to where David hid in the cave, but it's 20 feet in the air because of the erosion. So
Certain landmarks and geographical marks, they didn't get conquered by the Romans. We're talking buildings and synagogues and things like that. But like the rock where Jesus said, on this rock I'll build my church. These are the headwaters of the Jordan. It's amazing. Mount Carmel, they didn't conquer Mount.
It's still exactly
it's amazing.
the same.
The brook Kidron, where he took all those bad prophets of Baal and slew them all. The brook is still there, So the landmarks as far as geographical, the Sea of Galilee, it's still the same sea. But some of the buildings, you need to understand that you're going to see a lot of archaeological stuff that they've dug up because that's the original down under. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
And the other thing that you need to know, and Betty will attest to this, and Melanie, the tour guide guys have to go to school to learn to do this. So they are extremely knowledgeable of everything. The one we have is Aaron. He's not a born-again Christian. As of last year, he said not yet, but he's been seriously thinking about it. And he was a professor of history, Jewish history, at the university in Tel Aviv. So this man is a massive wealth of knowledge. You're going to walk around and go, oh my God, I never knew that, I never knew that, never knew that. And there's parts of your Bible that will literally come alive to you. And
That's
he'll
the fun
explain
part.
things to you. Now here's the good news about these guys. They're going to look at you and tell you, see the spot? This is where they say. And then when they're done, they'll say, but I'm going to tell you where it probably really happened. And they'll take us to those sites and explain to us why they think that traditional Christianity is wrong. They'll take you to the place where the Catholics have built a church where Jesus was crucified. Then they're going to take you to the mountain of the skull and show you where he really was crucified. And it's not a monument there. There's nothing there but a hill. So nobody's touched it, but they'll tell you this is probably the spot right here. And why they think that. So you'll study Jerusalem. The city has changed walls many times. So the walls in Jesus' day are different than the walls today. But they'll tell you this is the old city, this is the new city. We're going to get to go up through the Villa della Rosa. Is that right? It's going to shock you because it's very skinny and it's a lot of uphill. And that's the day you're going to do some walking. Now, anybody in here that you're really concerned about your walking? A lot. Okay. Because that day you're going to put about 5 miles on your tennis shoes. You really are. There is one place where we're going to go to the Mount of Olives. We're going to go to the Mount of Olives. And you've got to get off the bus and walk down the hill. And I'm telling you, it's downhill. I mean, you're headed downhill. When you get to the Mount of Olives, then you're going to head downhill again, and the bus will be at the bottom of the hill waiting on you. Well, if you don't want to do that, we've had a couple of people that you can see the Mount of Olives from the bus. You just stay in the bus and ride around to the bottom and see it from the bus. So you're not really going to miss anything other than the tour guide talking to you.
The Garden of Gethsemane is cool.
Yes.
They'll miss that.
Yes. Yeah, I meant the Garden of Gethsemane. I said a Mount of Olives, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking
The
about.
garden is awesome, so if you can
There's still
go,
trees, the olive trees that are in there are still the same ones that when Jesus was here.
they're amazing.
All right, when we get there, the tour guide is going to give you a thing called a whisper. Now, the time of year we're going is awesome because there's not as many people. Even though it's going to look crowded to you, you can't even imagine during the holy days when there is like 1,000 people in a room this, I mean, it's just like high school hall between classes for miles. It's just that many people.
This is a great time
This is
to
a great
go.
time. But in order for him to talk to us, they're going to give you a whisper, going to put it in your ear, and no matter where you are, you could be over there watching something, and I could be over here, and everything the guide says to us, we hear it. So we're looking around, and we're not missing anything by the wind, or he doesn't have to raise his voice, but everybody on the tour will get a whisper in their ear. At the end of the day, we'll turn them in, and then in the next morning, he'll hand them back out. There's also going to be water on the bus. There's 2 bottles of water for everybody. You're going to want more than that. Okay. So just take a bottle of water with you. You're going to want to hydrate. Don't run out of water. I'm going to carry something hanging on my belt. Now, Lisa and I are going to do something. Because you're going to eat lunch on your own, and sometimes the plates, there's a lot of food on them when you buy them. And Lisa and I last time walked out of a restaurant, we're like,
You did.
all right. So what we're
Occasionally I
going to
do.
do, and maybe, we hope it works. We bought a lunch bag to take with us, and in the morning when you wake up, the breakfasts are huge. There's everything from bread to dates to oranges to eggs and everything but ham. They don't have ham. There's no such thing as a kosher pig. So there's a lot of food, and the restaurant is probably about twice the size of the sanctuary, and it's just full of people in the hotel.
Not the restaurant, the actual dining.
The dining room, yeah, the dining room. So we're going to get a couple of hard-boiled eggs, a piece of bread, a couple of oranges, stick them in our bag, put them in our backpack, and then at lunchtime, when we feel hungry, we're going to pop out and eat. That way we don't feel like we need to stop. They're going to take you to Arab bread shops and places where you can buy food, local food if you want to. So lunch every day, you're on your own. But if you don't want to spend the money, just use a little wisdom, go out and buy yourself a little bag, and carry a backpack with you. I just highly recommend you carry a little backpack to carry when it gets warmer. You're going to want to take your hat, your stocking cap off of your gloves, throw it in the back. You're going to want to take your water bottle, throw it in your backpack. But if you get tired of carrying it, throw it on the bus and leave it there. Cameras. You don't need to take a huge camera. I have a friend, an acquaintance, and he's a professional photographer. And I said, what kind of camera do you use now? He goes, my phone. He said, I'm a professional. I use my phone for everything. He said, the technology is so great. So that leads me to one more thing, and then I'll see if Lisa probably has more. You need to go get an adapter for overseas. It's a 220 adapter that you need to plug all your stuff in the hotel. Plug it in their wall sockets are 220, not 110. And if you want to charge your phone at night, you're going to need one. And they're not very expensive. They're pretty cheap.
Amazon Prime, everybody. Amazon
Well, if
Prime.
not, I think Walmart, I think Eckerd's and places like that have them. They're not, Best Buy probably has them. So if you're running out of time, you need to do that.
They have, yeah, ships them overnight. They have two little round prongs. They're little round. It's an H. Yeah. So you need that. You're going to want that for everything. If you want your blow dryer and your curling iron to work and all of that stuff, and your cell phone to be plugged in, you've got to get that European adapter. So.
From my blow dryer.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Are you still talking?
Nope. You got
Okay.
this.
All right. So we're going to let you guys ask some questions at the end. So that's what we'll do so we can just move on. The main thing here is I'm going to move through these quickly, ask some questions at the end. Your passport. Take a copy. Make a copy of your passport. Put a copy in your luggage. Leave a copy at home. And have your real passport on your body at all times, if you can, like in your purse or your backpack. In case you lose it, you want to be able to get out of the country, you need a copy of it in your luggage and a copy of it at home, okay? Keep it on you at all times. Do not pack it away. You're going to be showing it all the time. Money and credit cards, you really don't need to exchange money in Israel, so don't worry about that. Most of them take credit cards, and a lot of them will take USA
I
cash.
think about $500. You're gonna want to dicker with those guys, because they're Jewish.
They're going to take us to a couple of stores. One of them I realized in the Jordan, when we get baptized, you're going to have an opportunity to be baptized in the Jordan River. It is freezing cold, so I don't feel the necessary need for that because I've been baptized. But there's a store in there. You don't really dicker too much with them, but then they're taking you to another one. Honestly, you need to, you need to look up some of those things online if you can. I don't know how your server is going to work as far as your service, but if something is $400 in a store, then it's probably really about $80. Okay,
$100, probably really about
$100 or $80. If something's $1,200 in that store, you need to pay about $250 for it. Okay, and if you're not comfortable coming that far down, come get me. But I do not want to bargain for everybody. I'm going to hide on the bus that day because they don't want to see my face again. Anyways.
She beat this guy up bad.
Anyways, so let's go on to, let's see, comfortable clothing like he talked about. Listen, guys, it might be warm on the plane. It might be cold. So come dressed warm, like for warm weather, short sleeve shirt, cotton, comfy pants. It's a 12-hour flight on the way there, 11 hours and 45 minutes. It's 13 hours on the way back because the first on the way, we got a tailwind. On the way back, we do not have a tailwind. So comfy clothes, be cool, but have something in your backpack that you bring, your carry-on on the plane. Don't let it be higher than 39 inches. It's not one of your normal carry-ons that you're going to bring on. I don't believe it's going to fit in an overhead bin. You're going to have to put it under your feet. Under the seat. So it's not a normal carry-on like, oh, I'm going to be for 3 days somewhere. It's not that. It's like a back. So hopefully you guys already know about that. I sent stuff out. We really don't want to drive in Miami traffic. Is there anyone that is going to drive themselves to Miami in this? Okay.
She goes to Miami all the time.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say this just because it's on YouTube and whatever. I called El Al and talked to them personally. If you drive into the airport in Miami, note, if you go into departures, which that's what you would normally think, departures, you're going to look for the Flamingo Airport parking. Flamingo, the pink bird. That is close to El Al. That's close to El Al. If you, but she told me if you want to go on the arrival side, which is kind of against your grain, but if you go on the arrival side, go all the way down through arrivals and park. It's an open air parking on the left-hand side, Concourse J. J for Jesus, okay? That's what I'm telling you. It's open air parking, it's cheap, it's cheaper, it's open air, and El Al is right across the road from them. Just go up the stairs and you're there, ready to go.
So Lisa's going to get with you about meeting the bus, but the ones of you that are going like Ashley, you better be there 3.5 hours early, and do not expect Miami traffic to be friendly to you. Don't arrive and say, well, we'll be there in 3.5 hours. You might not be there in 3.5 hours. I went to Miami for a shoot one time. It's about 4 hours. It was 6 hours before I got there, maybe almost 7. It was crazy.
When we arrive in Tel Aviv, if for any reason we get separated, there's 25 of us going. If for any reason we get separated, you're going to go down, you're going to go through all these ports of customs and da-da-da, and you're going to go down and at the baggage claim, if you get separated from us, there will be an ISRAM, I-S-R-A-M, ISRAM agent holding a sign that says Morgan Group or Pastor Darrell Group. That's where you're to congregate if you get there before or whatever, okay? So you'll see an ISRAM agent with a sign that says Pastor Darrell or Morgan Group, okay? That will be us, obviously.
Arriving
That's upon arriving in Tel Aviv. If we get off the airplane and you guys, some of you get through customs quicker than others, just, you'll see the sign, Morgan Group, Pastor Darrell, whatever. Okay. We are traveling with another team that's going down there, a pastor's team. And did we send that? We didn't send that YouTube to everybody.
Okay, when Lisa and I went the first time, we went on a pastor's familiarization tour. Now, what they do for us, hoping that we'll come home and get our church and bring them back, which we did. They trim all the fat off, and we go for about half price. But you can only do it once in your life. We didn't get to this time. We had to pay full price too, just like you guys. So Tom Copeland, Diane Copeland, Ashley's pastor, they're going to be in the hotel, the same hotel we're in. There may be a little bit of bus swapping. So, and you can do it. And we'll ask Eli, and maybe Tom will get on our bus one day, Tom and Diane, and vice versa. We might do some things a little bit different. I'm not sure yet. But there's a guy that is a tour guide. He lives here in America. He's a pastor. His name is Eli. And he's the one that works with Isram and puts this together.
He's our USA side. So
Yeah.
Pastor Eli, you keep hearing us say that name. Aaron lives in Israel. He's the guide.
He's the guide.
But Pastor Eli is our U.S. side agent. But he's already there in Israel right now.
Yeah, he's there waiting on us, getting everything ready, da-da-da-da-da. He
Now-
goes about 5-6 times a year.
Worst case scenario, just to let you know, the name of the leader of the group that's going on the same plane, same hotels with us, that's Dr. Kyle Bailey. Okay?
He has a Bible school
He's
in Vero
about
Beach.
35 years old, short and kind of dark hair, and that's who he went with. So, you'll probably see me talking to him.
For the
during
record,
the trip.
his school is full of Baptist, but he's a tongue-talking, devil-chasing holy roller.
He's not.
So he's not Baptist at all. So if you don't need to be worried about him and his wife, because they're like full bore Holy
Well,
Ghost.
she just had a baby, so she's not going.
Yeah, his wife's not going. So I just wanted you to be. So when we were there, we were trying to figure out who. Justin got up and preached healing and everything, and he didn't give a rip who they were. So he prayed for Baptists and got them healed and had all kind of fun.
So Israel is 7 hours ahead of us. That's just the bottom line, okay? So we're going to go through time zones. That's why it's 12 hours. But hotel rooms are first class. That says that in your report. They are not first class USA standard. What we're staying in is probably going to be 3, and I'm telling the truth. I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to speak real to you guys. It's 3.5 stars, okay? The hotels will look very palatial and beautiful. They really do. So they up it in that section, and the food is bar none. It's amazing. It's because it's all grown there locally, and so that is 5-star. But let me tell you and talk to you women about the rooms, okay? So there is no AC for you to turn on if you get hot in your rooms. They don't run the AC at all in the winter. So don't ask for it. Don't call down to the front desk, because I tried. So they're running air, or they're just air, circulating air or heat. If you're too hot, number one, bring a little fan with you. Okay?
You're going to open your window.
In your luggage, or open your window, because I slept with the windows open almost every night. Even though it was cool, it got stuffy. No paddle fans? No, there's not. So that's why I'm telling you, bring your little black fan, plug it in, run it across. I brought mine, and I loved it. So praise the Lord. I thought I'd tell you guys that. I want you women that have hot flashes here and there to have fun. So.
I'm going to tell you about the elevators. There's a Jewish elevator and a Gentile elevator. And what's the difference? The Jewish elevator stops at every floor because they cannot on the Sabbath push a button. It's work. Isn't that crazy? So this Jew got on the elevator with Lisa and he's standing there. And I said, "Where do you want to go?" He said, "I can't tell you." I says, and I realized, I said, "You want me to push a button?" So I just pushed buttons for him because under the law, they can't work and push an elevator button on the Sabbath as well. So there's a Jewish elevator. If you get on it,
you're going
on
to
the
every
14th
floor.
You're going the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth, and you're going to be forever on this elevator getting to your room.
So
you gotta, there's little things that we walked away with. That is crazy. you know,
That's
so.
on Friday night. The Sabbath starts.
The Sabbath.
Okay? And when you go to eat that night, it is going to be full of Jews down there because they're not allowed to cook. The women are not allowed to cook. So they all come to the hotel to eat.
We need to start. That's a great idea.
Okay.
Like Sabbath.
All right. So, anyways.
Israel shuts down Friday about noon and picks up Sunday morning. So I'll let you know they have a very long weekend, and there's one place we went where Lisa and I were able to go walking downtown, but ask before you go. You can get a taxi, and just ask. Ask the tour guide guy and say, can we go walking and where, and da-da-da, and they'll tell you.
Okay, so let me give you a heads up about our departure, the trip from Miami to Tel Aviv. It's going to be a long trip, but we're not going to get lost because it's all, one way. Some of you may be very tired. You might be. Some may be able to sleep. Some may not be able to sleep too much. When you get off the plane, it's going to be 1:50 in the afternoon and in Tel Aviv. 2 o'clock, we're jumping straight on our tour bus and going to Joppa to see, by the sea, to see Simon the Tanner's house. And we're going to have a little tour there. We're not going to go any place but Joppa. We're going to start our tour. We're only going to one place, and because it's 2 in the afternoon, they understand that we're really tired, but they got to get Joppa in, okay? Simon the Tanner's house, and then we're going to go to the hotel and get settled in, okay? So I just want you guys to have a heads up that when you get on the bus and they're like, okay, Aaron's going to start talking, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm down on my feet. I want to go to my hotel. I want to go to bed. Just chill with us. Go to Joppa. It's right there by Tel Aviv, and then we're going to our hotel. Okay, you got that? With us, we arrived at 8 a.m. in the morning, so we went to 3 sites. So,
We were going all day. We're like, I want to go to bed.
But
We want to force ourselves to stay awake. Because we
you
gotta-
do. You want to try. But actually, we got into our hotel at 5, and our dinner slot hour was not until 7. My husband and I, we actually had a great nap. We slept for an hour and a half, from 5 to 6:30, and we felt great.
And we went down and ate dates and stuff. All right, there may be one more heads up, then I'm going to ask questions. Justin and I are going to stay over in Israel when y'all come home. We'll be there 3 or 4 extra days. Lisa's coming home. She's got to preach. Somebody's got to be here working while me and Justin are out having
Someone's
fun.
got to work for a living around this place, right, Kansas?
So Kevin McNulty's going to take one Sunday morning. Lisa will be back for the next one.
Pastor's staying, but I got to
Teresa's
come
going
home.
to take one of the Wednesdays, and so having said that, y'all realize Mary Fran's not coming. Everybody knows that. Yeah, her daughter's in the hospital. Bam, she says, Mom, I hurt so bad I got to go. So they tried to schedule it later. It didn't happen. So I want you to know that Justin and I are going to go back up into the Golan with the IDF and spend some time up there with the soldiers. So be praying for us. I want to spend some time ministering to these. You're going to see their boys. 18, 19, 20 years old
And young
boy.
girls,
They're
too.
young men.
19,
And the colonels and all of that are like 30.
or 40.
Yeah, 40, you're an old man in the IDF.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a debriefing. You're going to get to meet them. You're going to have coffee up there and everything. So you realize when you start looking on the way home, where's Pastor? Well, Lisa left me there. She just said, I've had enough of you, and left me in Israel. So
Yeah, so this is my opinion. I'm not putting it on you. Last year, it didn't rain at all. It is their rainy season, so I brought a rain jacket. So bring a rain jacket with you with a hoodie. You don't have to bring an umbrella if you don't want to, but at least bring your rain jacket that's rain repellent with the hoodie, okay? The biggest thing is that it was very cool. It was cold. It was 38 degrees up in the Golan. It was snow on the mountain. So
well, that was just one day. That's just one day.
that was only 2 hours. but
Tiffany, it was the
wasn't-
whole time. It was the whole time.
No, it was just 2 hours. But
It's about the same temperature as Kansas.
But listen up. The Golan. The nice thing about the Golan is there's a cafe right on top of the mountain, and if you're not a cold person, just go in there and sit and have coffee. Okay. And it's going to be one of the highlights of our trip because we're going to get to meet.
That's where I sat and sang in the Holy
The
Ghost at the top of
IDFs.
my lungs and nobody knew what I was doing.
So, and just to tell you this, that the community right there where they live and they're watching right there around the border is that they make these beautiful kind of like alpaca wool type throws. They're beautiful. And so I bought one for like $20 because I want to help them. So the girls are selling some of them in the back of the coffee shop. So all kinds of different colors. So just love on them. They respond to love. They respond to love.
So when you get down near the Dead Sea, they're going to stop probably where you can see the little Bedouin kids. They'll come up on their donkeys and they'll be selling trinkets for $1 a piece or $2 a piece. So if you want to help them out and buy stuff from them, and so it's quite the deal. So
they have asked us. I'm telling you what was relayed to us. I'm not saying this is from my heart, but I'm trying to be respectful of what they're expecting of us. They have asked us not to try to convert our guides. In other words, engage them in conversation about the blood of Jesus and you need to be saved. They've just asked us not to do that because every Pentecostal and charismatic and Christian group try to convert the guides and they start to shut down. They start to shut down. So I'm asking you to try to respect that. If the Lord gives you something, just say it, but don't engage in a long conversation with them. Just be appreciative, thank Him, and the truth is that Aaron was very touched during our Bible devotions and our studies that we had at the different sites. And one of the last sites we go to is Shiloh. They call it Shiloh, I call it Shiloh. But it's the place where the Ark of the Covenant was in a tent for 300 years. And I got to talk about the blood of Jesus at the Ark of the Covenant at this site and how it's not with blood of bulls or goats, it's by the blood of Jesus. And Aaron was just really touched, at our devotion times.
And we had a healing service there, and that really ministered to them. So
At the Pool of Siloam.
one of the things, and I don't know whether Melanie or these guys that have been know this, but they relate to you as being a crusader, and the Crusaders under Martin Luther believed that the Jews killed Jesus.
They called them Christ killers.
Christ killers, and for a while in history, Christians killed Jews. So that's how they relate to the term Christian, not the way you see a Christian. They respond to your love when you love them, because they'll ask you, why do you love us?
Yeah.
And that's a big deal to them, the love. They also believe that if they become Christian, they've got to stop being Jewish. They don't know. So they're not as likely to engage in a conversation with you. I was talking to a lady on the airplane, Jewish, and she looked at me, she said, "You're Messiah, not mine." And I went, "Okay, all right," and I said, "The Messiah." She said, and so they're they're not afraid to get in an argument. Arguing is a way of life for Jewish people. If we ran church like they run church, there wouldn't be a soul in this church. Because when they get together and do Bible studies, they fight. They argue. I don't believe that, and then they get away their friends. If we argue when you leave, you never talk to us again. That's the last time we ever see you.
Yeah.
So that's so they're very argumentative people. So just be kind and be loving. And of course, if the Lord lays it on your heart and you know that you know that you know, Justin went down the street and talked to some soldiers on the street, but then he's able to come back up to his room, and he's a little gutsy thing anyway. So
Well, the young people are different. They've come up in a different time, so they're more open. Many of them don't even have their Jewish roots and traditions.
yeah.
They don't even go with they're kind of like grandfather
If they live in
generation.
Tel Aviv, they're pretty much Democrat.
And I know I don't have to say this to anybody in here, but I'm just going to say it in case you need to tell someone that's going with you. They're very modest. So women, it's winter over there, so there's no shorts. Nobody wears shorts. If you have to wear a skirt, it needs to be past your knee, okay? And the shortest a shirt can be, short sleeve. No sleeveless, no tank tops, no midriffs showing. The The Muslims won't be happy, and neither will the Jews. So, okay? Sorry, no bikini.
Che
in
Che,
the
sorry
show.
about that, baby.
So Steve developed a hole in his jeans. Does he need to go back in jeans?
Probably.
I don't know.
No, I wear like the ripped jeans.
He wore, Justin wear his ripped jeans, that were like in style, but just no shorts and, so dress modest.
Anybody have any questions?
Any
I know we've been
questions?
talking for a long time.
Yes, Tina, Bashara.
When we go for who be baptized, do we wear shorts or do we get?
What do you wear, Justin, when you're baptized?
They're gonna sell you a gown. It's gonna be white and see-through.
Yes.
You're gonna put a whole gown on that you rent. It's like $10, and you pay cash or credit card. You're gonna put it over your swimsuit or over.
So wear a workout shorts and a workout tank top.
I just had a regular bathing suit on, like no shirt, put the gown on. So obviously when you go down, like you're still, you come up. But the women, they just wore
Their workout clothes. Or a very modest bathing
Modest
suit.
Land's End bathing suit.
Modest bathing suit, yes.
The skirt bathing suit.
Well, no, not necessarily that. It's just that white gown is going to cling to your
You
body.
gotta wear a sweater so when you go down, they can't pull you back up.
Yes, anything else?
What else?
Cody? I'll come back to you.
The Pack Light endeavor. Washing machines, you said that you pack only like 2 or 3 pairs of pants. I typically,
Are you gonna get dirty on a bus?
no, but I would prefer not to wear the same pants for 5 days.
You can carry 3, but realize this, you got 50 pounds. Choose your weapon.
I'm a lady, and I brought 5 pairs of pants, and I only wore 2 during the tour, and then a different one when I went home and when I came. But my 2 that I brought were so comfortable that when I'm on that tour, and I never got dirty. The
And it's really
pants never
cold,
got.
so it's not like you're
It's cold
sweating.
too. You're not really
You're not
sweating.
sweating, it's cold. So I wore a pair of heavy jeans like this, and then I wore a pair of light khaki.
You will not have time to do laundry. I'll
You
tell
will.
that.
Nobody will have
You-
time
you
to do
don't have-
laundry.
you don't have
So
time to do
if you
anything.
want to bring 4
But you're
or
gonna
5
want to
pants,
bring
you
1
can.
pair of skivvies for every day. Your under skivvies.
Okay, that was TMI. Too much information.
No, this group has to know that.
Oh,
Different
no.
skivvies.
Okay, Tina, what was your other question?
Do we have irons?
I do not know. Can I just be honest with you? We had an amazing time, and I'm telling you what, we were on steroids. We got up in the morning at 7 o'clock. We went to breakfast. We were out on the tarmac at 7:45. We were on the bus at 8. Our day was like boom. And the only rest time you had was when you were driving from spot to spot. And then by the time you got home, it was 6 o'clock. You barely had time for a shower. A couple nights you did, and then you had your 7 o'clock slot or your 6:30 to 7:30 slot. You went to eat. You were dog tired. You went in the shower and you went to bed. And you did it all over again for the next 8
You
days.
went upstairs and you laid down in the bed and said, "I'll see you in a few minutes," and
So,
woke up and the sun was
We're
coming
okay
up.
if your clothes are wrinkled. We're okay if you have jeans, tennis shoes. Just think sports. Think
And
Think
I
hiking
haven't washed this shirt and
clothes.
jeans in months.
So there's not a lot of time for that. So that's all. This-
So people in a bed, or is it one person?
no.
One
If
per bed.
if you are not married, it'd be 1 person per bed, unless they have different arrangements. Okay, they'll like have three single beds in a room, or 2
Two
double
beds
beds in a room.
Yeah.
But if you're not a married person going with a married spouse, they'll put you in a single bed.
Okay, because we were looking at the site and it's showing just double bed for each room.
No,
No, you're in it by yourself.
they have different arrangements.
Did you say breakfast at 7?
Most of the time, well, here's what they tell us. We woke up at 6:45, and we're ready to go down to, we get ready to go. And we get down, we probably made it down by 7:15 to eat breakfast, but we were out on the tarmac by 7:40. Do you know what I mean?
7:45.
So our breakfast slot is like 7 to 8 or something like that. You get a whole hour.
And at 8:15, they're calling
No.
you. They're
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
You're on
They're
the
calling
bus.
you. Their name, Daryl, Cody and Justin and you know, where are you? And they're loading, they're taking head counts, and when it's loaded, they close the door. And because when you get to the hotel, you're going to see about 50 buses. And you better remember which one's yours, because they're all lined up out front. And they're going to pull up in the front for you, because they got slots. They got to get their group and go. So the next guy has another slot, and they're going to load up the bus and go.
So we're most likely not going to leave you, but if you're rooming...
We haven't left too many people last time.
If you're rooming with someone, everybody be accountable to each other. When we get on the bus and we say, okay, we're good to go, and I need someone to pipe up and go, no, Rose is not here. Okay, someone pipe up. Yeah, so the last, let me get on my mic. The last day is going to be a long day. Okay, so let me tell you what this looks like. I am going to request a 9 o'clock leave, probably, on the bus. Going to get a little more time to sleep in the morning. You don't have to rush down to breakfast. So I'm going to request, I've already talked to my agent, stateside, I'm going to request a 9 o'clock leave on the ISRAM bus. So we have a little more time to get ready, to load up our suitcases, get them out by your door at a certain time, and the bellhop will take it to our bus. Personally, we like to bring our own suitcases
I brought
down.
my own down, stood it by the
We just
bus.
wanted to make sure it stayed with us. It's up to you. But we're going to be in 3 hotels. One of them, one night,
Tel Aviv,
and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Tiberias.
Galilee, Tiberias, and Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Yes. So that last day is a long day. We're going to sightsee. We're going to get up later. We're going to leave on the bus. We're going to sightsee all day. And then Shiloh is our last point, but Shiloh's going to be a long stop because we're going to eat lunch there, and we're going to hang out and rest and stuff like that. But then we're going to do our farewell dinner that night at around, I don't know, 6:30, 7 o'clock, which is the funnest dinner ever. We're going to go to this really nice restaurant, and I believe that's paid for. We didn't pay for that.
No, that's part of your trip.
That's part of our
paid for.
trip, the farewell
So
dinner.
the other
So-
group, Tom Cope and all them will be there too, and we'll all get up and tell what Jerusalem meant. I mean,
Meant to us, and-
everybody gets to talk that night and share, and we're going to eat dinner. And
The food was amazing.
The food was good,
so-
and then you're going to go to the airport, and your plane leaves at 1 in the morning.
So we need to
You're going to
be-
sleep on the way home. I mean, you're going to go.
You will.
I don't sleep on planes.
You will.
You are going to sleep on the plane.
So that's how that's going to look. We're going to get to Tel Aviv airport at 11 o'clock, and then
Yeah,
we're going
3
to
hours
leave
early.
at 1 something,
Yeah.
whatever that is. So, any more questions, Tina?
When we leave the hotel, do you want us to take our luggage down before breakfast
Yes.
time and then put it on the bus or take it down?
If you put it outside your room, the bell boys will get it. But we took our luggage to breakfast with us.
And there downstairs, there's an area, and probably one of us will be standing there, and we'll all see it. And we
No.
stick our luggage over there.
No, I know what she's saying. No, you do not check out. You do not go to the desk. We do that. We take care of all your checkouts.
And you don't check out every day. You're going to 3 different hotels, so you're gonna.
We're paying for all this. I'm the checkout person. Y'all aren't. Y'all just go to breakfast.
There are some days you don't take your luggage
No.
down. Your luggage stays in the room.
We're 3 nights in Sea of Galilee, Tiberias. We're 3 nights in Jerusalem. 1 night in Tel Aviv. So our first night in Tel Aviv, do not get all unpacked and settled. Just live out of your suitcase. Get your pajamas out. Get your clothes out for the next morning.
Get your toothbrush out, please. Please get your toothbrush.
And then we're checking out and we're heading to wherever.
It said the thing about a leader, that like when you went through the questionnaire and everything, that each group would have a leader or something?
The leader is us, Daryl, Pastor
We're the group.
Morgan.
We're the group.
We're the group leaders, Pastor Morgan. The Morgans. Pastor Morgan. Anything else? We're your leaders.
Apostle, prophet, evangelist, pastor, teacher,
Tiff?
Darrell Morgan. Just tell it like it is.
Okay, Tiff Riff.
So the $120, right, Pastor Lisa, is it to be paid differently, or you want us to bring it to
We want you to bring it to Israel in cash.
in cash? Okay.
okay?
Because that's gonna be gratuity that we give to Eli, and they give it to the hotel.
To the servers and
the
the,
bellhops,
tip
and
differently.
in other words, they're gonna do all your tipping.
you guys do not tip at the tables. You bring your $120, each person gives us $120 cash the first day,
Okay,
and we distribute it out.
okay.
Okay.
Make sure that every hotel, everybody. Now, I'm gonna do something, because I wanna be a witness to the bus driver. He knows who we are. At the last day, I'm gonna take up an offering for him and his wife and for Aaron. Now, you wanna bring a $5, $10, $15, $20, whatever you want to, I'll walk around and say, I'm gonna take up an offering for the bus. And by that time, you're gonna be going, oh yeah, I wanna help this guy, love him. So that's gonna be our way of witnessing to him. We took up an offering, we wanna give this to you, we love you.
And we're
We love
gonna give
Israel,
it
we
to
love
him
you
at
guys.
the farewell dinner, but don't say we're gonna give it to him.
Yeah,
It's gonna
don't
be a
say anything.
surprise.
We'll give it to him.
We're just gonna
And
bless him,
The last time,
so-
he said, I have never in my life ever had anyone give me an offering. Never.
It's probably why Aaron wants to get back on our bus.
That might be why he's going,
Wait,
they're
the same
coming back, are
Aaron
you?
that we had last year,
Aaron's gonna be our guide.
he was booked for like 2 years.
Aaron's gonna be our guide.
Oh my God.
Aaron's gonna get
Oh
saved.
my God.
Aaron's gonna be our guide. Isn't that awesome?
Now, the good thing about Tom's bus is a Messianic Jewish girl is gonna be on Tom's bus, Tom Copeland. So I don't know how it works now, so don't get your hopes up. There might be a chance you can switch buses, but please don't take
No,
that to
you
the bank.
cannot tell our group that.
I didn't tell them that. I said, I don't know, I'll find out.
Pastor
if it's at all.
Daryl and I or Justin may be able to switch a bus, but I'm not going to do it because you are my group. But like if our pastor, Pastor Tom, wants to be with him, he's allowed to get on our bus. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not free. I don't want y'all switching buses because I can't keep track of you. You're all going to stress me out. Okay. What were we going to
Aaron's
say?
amazing. You're not gonna want to. He's
Um, so what Pastor Daryl was saying is that there may be 1 or 2 sites where we join Kyle Bailey's group and listen to Susan, who is a Messianic Jewish guide.
Girl.
Born again. Yeah, guide. So, but Aaron's amazing. And then
Suzanne is.
Aaron will then just give the whisperer to Susan, and we'll all hear what Susan's saying. We'll get on her channel.